Good morning. It is Memorial Day Tuesday. Many of you are probably just getting back to work, so I'm still on vacation. Hopefully no one's in traffic. I came down from New Jersey on Friday and I was lucky. There were two accidents, two choke points. It added about an extra 45 minutes to the total commute time, so it wasn't too bad. But in any event, I'm putting out this video concurrently with our initial draft technical release, or what we're envisioning to be a technical release. That yet remains to be totally confirmed, but it leans that way. This now has been a compilation of work done by our three teams, if not four, but we had three teams specifically devoted to leases, reporting entity, and the case studies, and then a smaller team put together our process flow chart. I made a couple of little artistic, believe it or not, suggestions or improvements, if you will. But the thought behind it came from the fourth team. So I basically just compiled the data, the information, without really doing any type of, neural connections, if you will, which is pretty much what we're going to have to start working on next. So even though we're convening as an overall task force, the individual teams will continue to be responsible, right, to make sure that we don't misinterpret or misplace the guidance that they believe needs to be put forward once we begin refining and integrating the different sections together. So just as a primer for the June 15th meeting, take a look at the executive summary. I'd like to keep it to one page. I'd like to keep it succinct and brief, but let me know if you believe we're missing any key points that we should be making to the technical release or the related guidance. That's on page 1. Then on pages 4 through 6, there's an introduction where we need to reference, it's a chart that I developed. We're going to need to reference specific paragraph numbers within the guidance. So we could kind of do that later, but certainly feel free to make those connections because I haven't yet. And the other thing is we want to connect that chart. Remember, that chart is going to list implementation challenges that we're addressing in this TR. And I want to relate implementation challenges to the case illustrations that are kind of illustrating, how do we deal with these management challenges. So take a look, see if you believe there's a case study that fits that challenge, and let me know. Now we'll do this on the 15th, so don't send me documents now, as I'll probably lose track of them anyway. But we'll talk about this on the 15th, okay? So kind of think about it now. Page 8, related accounting literature. I've only listed, I think, the major standards, 47 and 54. But if you believe there's additional guidance, for example, should we list all the TRs related to leases? We can. Are there technical bulletins that I haven't spotted that might relate? Are there staff implementation guides? So if you could take a look at that, I'd really like to get volunteers assigned, but I don't think we have enough time given the holiday and the frenetic pace that many of you are going to be involved in for year end. So I'd like to have each of you look at these, if you will, these page numbers. Again, the executive summary is page 1, the introductions pages 4 through 6, the related accounting literature is page 8. Then on pages 15 and 18, that'll be specific to, I think, the leases team. So if you are on the leases team or interested in leases, take a look at those 2 pages, because we have questions that I think Bruce Henschel is asking regarding leases. There were some observations. So I think we should talk about those, okay? I didn't get any questions, I don't believe, about related party. except Maribel Miller is asking that we take a look at the process flowchart to really make sure it's clear and simple, I believe. I haven't had a chance to talk to Maribel, but I think that's what she'd like us to do. So again, take a look at the process flow chart when I send it out later, and see if it follows what we've been talking about, right? And what we've been saying. And what is that? Well, we've been saying, look, 49 is not first violin chair, okay? It might be in the second row violin. So, standards 47 and 54 are going to be in the first row. They might be the first violin playing. So if that's the case, we lay out a procedure that you first identify whether or not you have a P3 under 49. And if so, you go to reporting entity, you look at your reporting entity requirements, and you ascertain, hey, do I have a consolidated entity, disclosure entity, or is it a related party? And then from there, if the answer is, let's say, no, you then go to leases. And you look at leases and apply that guidance. And the last step is harmonizing the disclosure so we don't repeat disclosures and we don't have notes everywhere talking about the same P3 arrangement in two different ways, if you will. So we'll have to take a look at that, okay? And there's probably more guidance we might have to write about it, but I'm hoping that the case studies kind of address that, okay? We really want the case studies to do a lot of the talking for us with the elaboration that might be required. So take a look at your process flow chart on pages 24 and 25, and then the case studies goes to case study team 3. You're all welcome to look at these case studies, but I really want team 3 to look at the edits I've made in response to your input to me, and determine if we're okay to go with those edits. Because what I'd like to do after the June 15th is take the edits that I'm showing you now, accept them all, let's get them behind us, and then we'll work on another version, trying to perfect that, okay? Possibly with any recommendations you may make at the June 15th meeting, okay? So listen, I know you're busy. I know it's a rough time of year, and you don't know how much I appreciate this. Sometimes I think, between you and me, right, the board kind of loses sight of the calendar, to a degree. I mean, they're cognizant of year-end naturally, and they know, but we as staff know firsthand how hard it is for you. We feel your pain. Like you, I was involved in year-end closing. So thank you for all of this. I'm trying my best to meter this out in a slow and methodical way because there's no reason to rush this. At least not yet. I mean, the board isn't making this a top priority per se for me, other than working on it. But they're not putting pressure on me at this point. If they do, I'll let you know. But I think so far so good. They've been very good with me and with the rest of us on staff for the most part. So that being said, I'll send out the draft guidance along with this video in an email, and I'll see you on June 15th. If you have any questions, give me a buzz. But I do wish you all well as we enter into summer. Okay, take it easy.